and welcome to Critical Choice. For my first video, I want to give you a little history about myself, and by doing so, I want to give you my top 5 favorite movies of all time. So I'm going to go from 5 to 1. I have come up, it's very hard to do, but I have come up with a definitive top 5 list in order. So starting at number 5, I want to go with Multiplicity. Now, Multiplicity has kind of a sentimental value, as my uncle, who was very close to me, he and I enjoyed that movie a lot, and Michael Keaton just has my number. He just knows how to make me laugh. The awkward comedy, the self-reaction, which I think is beyond hilarious. There are too many scenes where Michael Keaton is talking to Michael Keaton and arguing with Michael Keaton, and it just gets me. It's too much funny. Number 4, I have to go with a childhood favorite movie of mine, Neverending Story. This movie has helped inspire a lifelong fascination with imagination. As somebody who saw that at a very young age, I took out of it the fact that imagination is so important that it affects everybody on such a deep level. Even people who work in accounting, or even people who enjoy sports or anything. Imagination is a huge part of everybody's life. And while in the movie it's just about one kid and some fantasy land, sort of, it really affects everything and everybody. I think it's an awesome movie. I think it's well made. I read the book and it was very well written. The book is 10 times better than the movie. So the fact that the movie is in my top 5 does say something. Now we move on to number 3. Number 3 has been a favorite of any underdog and any Philly sports fan of any kind. I have to go with Rocky. So Rocky is the story. I think we all know the movie. The first Rocky was about an underdog who was kind of he was a nobody, and he had the chance to take on a champ, and he took it. Anytime there's any kind of adversity, I know for me personally, anytime I feel any adversity in my mind, I imagine being in Rocky's shoes and realizing that I have to take on the champ in order to get anywhere and to even have a chance at success. And the theme song alone just absolutely resonates in my entire life. And anytime I have to run anywhere, or anytime I have to take on some challenge, whether it's a hard work day or playing a hockey game or any kind of sports game, I imagine being in his shoes, doing the montage, and it's always been a favorite of mine. Sylvester Stallone is, I think, beyond underrated as a writer, and that was his first big break to show it, and he really, just like his character, Sylvester Stallone really took on the world and won, showing that he is not only a fantastic actor, or at least an adequate actor. I think he's great, but I know a lot of other people don't. That's fine. But he did show that he is an amazing writer, and I think it deserves a lot of credit as a movie. And that leads us to number 2, which is, I'm a huge fan of romantic comedies, and I can't say enough about one of my favorite actors, John Cusack. So number 2 is Say Anything. Say Anything is a movie about a guy who is eternally optimistic, and in being that, he has a chance to go on a date with one of the most popular girls in school, and it's very quirky. It's very John Cusack's character is just a weird guy, but he's an innocent, sweet. He's a guy who just kind of puts himself out there. He's as real and honest as he can be, and it absolutely is. I mean, my favorite scenes to recite in my life are from that movie. And I even recently got to meet John Cusack and tell him that that movie just that changed my life, and I thought that was awesome. He was really nice about it, and I appreciate that. Yeah. And that brings us to my number one all-time, top of the list, over the moon. Cannot choose a better one, and this is my number one favorite. I think we have a drum roll. Number one, Jaws. Jaws is the first movie I ever watched, and at 2 years old, I was sad when they killed the shark. Yeah, it's been that big to me. It's aided a lifelong interest and fascination in sharks and marine life, and through that wildlife, and it also has terrified me at times being in the ocean. I live near the Atlantic City, and um, every time I go there, I just picture the real life story that inspired Jaws, which is another amazing story. I mean, amazing being amazingly scary, but it's interesting. Jaws is a movie that, again, anytime there's a situation in my life, um, you're gonna need a bigger boat is one of my favorite lines. And man, just I can't get enough of the scene between Quint Hooper and Brody when they're talking about the USS Indianapolis, and the ability that Steven Spielberg had with using a little to create a lot. He made a lot of fear with no actual shark, and he made do. He turned a B movie into an all-time best in a lot of ways. He created the first summer blockbuster. He invented the scaring someone while not seeing anything, and the idea in movies that what's not seen is the scariest thing, because your imagination takes over and you imagine, and there it goes again. That's why Neverending Story is in my top. But your imagination takes over, and that creates the scariest thing, scarier than anything Steven Spielberg or Alfred Hitchcock or any other director could have directed. So that's my top 5 favorite movies of all time. Now, my challenge to you is I want to hear what your top 5 favorite movies are. Post in the comments and tell me what your top 5 are. Tell me how bad my list was or how good it was. Good. And I hope you liked this video. Subscribe to my channel, and I'll be posting a lot more, so enjoy. I'll see you later.